would exercise my right to counsel.
Oh God, all my Amazon subscribe and save things are being canceled. I'm done. That's it.
Israel on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Israel! I should have said Thomas.
Okay. That's good. We're done.
That's it?
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, we got an add chair for Steve, and then we're good to go on this side.
Yeah.
Okay, seating arrangement. I don't really care for the most part.
We're gonna.
I want Pisco and Josiah on the opposite sides of each other.
You do?
Like on the opposite sides of the table. We don't need to be facing each other.
Okay,
I just want
got
like
it.
one of you over
Yeah, I'm gonna
here.
be right there. Is that
Because
cool?
you guys tend to be like social gravitational
Yeah.
types. Yeah.
Oh.
You're both very charismatic.
How do you turn this thing off?
Oh.
It's very high tech, man.
I'll give them all these don't mind. Dan, do you want your seat? Oh, he's in the back. He
This
might
is
kick you out,
mine.
really.
Do not touch.
What is
This
that?
is seat?
Mine. He
not.
feels like this is his seat or this is his seat.
I left it to you.
One
It's
of
a
them is
platinum
his seat.
cup.
Platinum
shit.
April.
I know.
Did we buy that
that's-
at
Hey, good,
No,
good.
we didn't.
I like your talons, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm ready to be evicted
So
by the
For
landlord.
Aquamarine
He's
by
too nice to
Edison Ray.
me.
They are themed.
No.
Steven, you're-
Yeah.
isn't that a TikTok person?
She used
It
to
is,
be,
yeah.
and now she is redefining pulp.
That work?
She is.
She's redefining pop.
Yeah.
She's redefining it.
Are you partial to the sounds of Journey?
No.
I wouldn't say they're my main, my main squeeze.
Are we gonna fight over fucking everything? Is
I
that
like
what we're
Journey.
destined to do?
I like
you said
Journey.
no.
I just don't think that's John's
Oh,
vibe.
sorry. You know, I shouldn't get
Who's
defensive.
vanilla?
She doesn't like. I don't think you'll like
Lego
Journey.
That was- that
Are we
was-
That's fine.
streaming?
That's fine. Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Oh.
it.
Now? Oh.
What have I said?
I just went off. Do you remember earlier when you were over there and I was like, we're streaming?
I do.
Yeah, so,
I actually do remember that.
yeah, we're fine. I have plenty of
I just don't remember what I
We
said.
like, I don't know.
Why not?
Are these mics well positioned? I protect them.
Yes, you do.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
If you sit there was your head.
It's a trip to see you, man.
It's a trip to see you, buddy. I feel like we should be like in a grid formation or whatever. Like I should be sitting on a
Yeah.
stool behind you.
I should
and
be
like above
late.
your head. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Where's you gonna show your laptop?
Okay, we'll have Nick sit where you're gonna sit.
Oh no, I don't need to. I don't need to be in
No,
there.
no, no.
We'll
You're
make
gonna
sure
sit-
it's private,
just
right?
sit
Yeah.
where Steven's gonna sit.
Oh,
Can you
gotcha.
shuffle this
Yeah,
way
we
a
can
little bit?
shuffle.
Yeah.
We're just gonna fit another chair in.
Okay.
We can get nice and tidy.
Is that enough?
I think so. Steve, you will need a mic though, because we've got a mic here. We're gonna need a few extra mics, I think. Two.
We'll share. We can share.
Awesome.
Give
I should hold this glass so it doesn't knock
Thank
over.
you, dude.
Colorful.
Try to introduce more color in my life in general. You know, it's so
Listen,
easy to go
depending
black
on how
and
the map goes, if you're wearing a shirt like that tomorrow, the color's just gonna slowly like fade away. It's just gonna like gray out. Yeah.
How you feeling about your precious North Carolina?
white.
Okay, try to like be as close, like you guys don't all fucking hate each other. Uncomfortably close. Might be a little uncomfortable, but.
It's fine. We all love each other.
Why are you moving away?
Shane, I'm glad we get along. 'Cause
That hurts so much.
Okay. Roll
care-
the mics. You guys know the
So we're
roll?
gonna share it.
Yep.
Like this. Alright. That's about how far you need to be from the mic.
Yeah, you're good.
And it
There?
should be aimed at your
Okay.
mouth.
All right.
So if you guys are sharing, it'll be.
Hello.
Steve, do you want them to bounce it back and forth, or do you want it to sit?
Kind of to be bounced, probably bounced back and forth.
Okay.
All right.
Alright.
do you
All
what's
right.
this? You want this? Who has the?
All right.
Really, just so you know, if you're gonna pull it, it's gonna be on there.
Okay.
All right.
Dan has the power right now.
Okay.
Always.
Good distance. Okay.
Ba-na, ba-na.
Is the special guest Jessica Tarlov?
She followed me. She followed me back.
Is it
You got
announced?
it.
He already announced it.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Amaranth.
Is
Is it really?
No, I'm fucking with you, and it's not Amaranth.
Oh.
My neighbor.
Who's your neighbor?
It's Amaranth, you dumb motherfucker.
Oh shit!
Really?
Man,
I thought you-
lawyers are the worst.
Plot twist: his neighbor is Amaranth.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
you actually.
He didn't lie.
Yeah.
He didn't lie to you at all. Huh, got you.
I'm a fan.
We're fans.
She's a badass business person, first of all.
Rude business.
Yeah, what a boss.
Since she
Very
walks in
funny
here, all
though
of
when
our net
she's
worth
like
combined
live
is like a
streaming and
fraction
also
of
in like
Yeah.
A for
She made
Andre
yesterday.
streams
She's
trading
bad.
Pokemon
It's awesome. Good for her.
I remember her
you
saying
do?
something like smart about taxes, but
She's
that's all
a-
I remember.
I used
Yeah.
to watch her read
Yeah,
the
me
on
too.
ban
Just in
requests.
taxes. That's all.
I really love
That's
it.
all I know.
All right. Phones off the table.
Okay. Jeez.
You can check them
Jeez,
out. You called me out straight away. I was looking at his phone as I said it.
Okay.
I was hiding mine.
I was thinking about yours,
The
but
problem is Kyla has a bad
She
habit of
was-
stealing my phone and then like dropping it off somewhere. She's done that a couple of times, so
That's
that's
yeah.
true.
why.
I just
Yeah.
really want to be as famous as he is.
Stop it.
You're
I
super
gotta
famous
steal it.
now.
Not even.
It's pretty quick turnaround to get to Miami and then go to DC.
I know. I'm gonna be like. I've been trying to like quit energy drinks for like the past like 6 weeks.
Are you
and I'm
addicted?
gonna- Oh fuck yeah!
You're not a coffee guy?
600 milligrams of caffeine a day and hate is what keeps me going.
What about coffee?
Yeah.
You don't drink coffee?
I hate coffee. I hate coffee. That's what I'm saying. It's hate. Yeah.
I have never had an energy drink, and we have one in the fridge right
We have
now.
a Red Bull.
Bought for me.
Have you ever had a vodka Red Bull?
I have never, no,
Oh.
because I'm scared of them, and I'm scared of the drink in my fridge right now.
Why? What'll happen?
I don't know. Will I
Are you afraid of?
explode? I don't.
You have it in the
So?
refrigerator?
We have a Monster and a Red Bull, and I don't know which one.
We have one,
Sugar-free?
and it's like iced tea
Oh, one of them
flavored,
is-
so I'm excited because I like
That's
iced
gonna be
tea.
gross.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Great.
It's sugar free.
That's gonna be
Sugar
worse.
free, yeah.
No, like
Some
a
people
sugar-
like sugar
You should
free
get
Red Bull.
sugar-free Red Bull. It's very good.
I'm scared of it.
It won't-
No, it's gonna be
Apparently, it
great.
gives me wings.
It's gonna be great. You're gonna feel like empowered in a way you never have
Okay,
before.
I need that.
Yeah, you're gonna like neck lift Pisco like as soon as
Yeah,
you
I'm
crush
like,
one. it's
I
like,
will not have a Red Bull, but if anyone wants to give me some illegal Adderall,
How many of you guys? Come
She
on,
was
come
just
on.
kidding.
Be honest.
Anyone watching?
it was a
Yeah.
joke. It
Yeah.
was a joke. I would never.
In my lab.
What's a day in your life? You wake up at 7 a.m., you read the paper.
So I wait.
Perfect. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
I stand outside in my robe and I wait for the paper boy to throw me my fucking iPhone with my Twitter activated. So no, what happens is I wake up at 7:30. On a good day, I'll go to the gym. On most days, I don't. And then I'll pull out my phone and I'm just constantly scrolling, bookmarking like stories to go.
Do you do all
research.
body? And like, do you do any splits? What's your routine
Body?
look like? Like when you go to the gym, or do you do push pull legs? Or
So
what
it's
are you doing?
usually legs, back by.
And why haven't you sent Pisco pictures yet?
So
Do you
that's
have
the thing. So he's playing coy right now. So wait a minute. So the thing is, Pisco is playing coy. He gets a lot of pictures from me. He's just like teeing it up right now. So Joe, when you're not Joe, when you're not here, Joe, when you're not here, that's what gets him by. Okay.
I bet.
Yeah.
Gross.
Whoa.
Well, you have a
excuse
beautiful
me.
body.
Are
Yeah.
you being homophobic?
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No,
No,
never happened.
my Me Too moment. Yeah.
Sorry, Nick.
But no, so like then I'll just be on Twitter for like the first like 3 hours because it really is.
Twitter's
a good-
where you get your news.
It's really good still, like as much of a shithole as it is.
Both. You're the same.
You just threw me off like the most
I
offensive
mean,
thing.
in a way, Elon is curating what you're
Shush.
seeing.
We hate this man.
Why do you gotta like? Yeah. Why do you have to say it like that?
He has
Like,
some power over you. Even in opposition,
I don't like
you
that.
are
I don't like that
fighting
at
on
all.
his terms in a way.
Yeah. Are you trying to like screw my
get
career?
You should get your news from Threads.
I'd be the third person on Threads.
I'm on that.
I mean, even as shitty as it is, it's still a good like news curating tool in my opinion, especially like if you have the
Twitter.
right people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mediaite's good. Aaron Rupar, ACYN, like they're just like constantly like breaking
These are people
news.
that
Brown
MAGA
nose.
hates.
Of course.
Aaron Rupar was accused by some people of lying about Liz Cheney. The statement that Trump made about Liz Cheney.
You want to remind people what the statement was?
He said something to the effect of
Something to the effect of.
Something to the
Is
effect
doing a lot of heavy lifting right now. Yeah. Speaking
she
of
needs to be
push
shot
pull.
dead in
Yeah.
military conflicts.
Yeah, so he wasn't advocating for violence against Liz Cheney. What he was saying was he would like to see her in a situation where bullets would be
He
Fired
said,
at
yeah,
her.
I get it.
in a non-violent way.
No, he was saying this bitch talks the talk, but can she
Walk the walk.
Bone spurs of all people, like making like
I'm
casting those
kidding.
aspersions.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
It was a fair statement.
What was
In it.
Oh,
Wait.
Mr. Wick TV over here.
Listen, I don't
Wick
think.
TV.
I can't even. Excuse me, Mr. Merrick Garland. Okay.
Wick TV.
Excuse me.
No, you know what? All love to Wick TV. He has good panels and he gives good pushback.
What the hell? What the hell did Wick? Wait, what happened?
Okay, you're missing. So Wick and I got it on Twitter. It's not important to what's
They were
going
having
on.
a spat.
Oh,
Little
lover's
spat.
quarrel. Yeah. Listen.
Do I love Wick?
Wait, didn't they just shoot that?
Shoot who?
Squirrel?
That sucks.
Come on.
Enough from the peanut gallery.
Ira's so happy right now. He's so happy that squirrel's dead.
So Kyla left this glass here. How long is it going to take for her to knock it the fuck over? I'm
I already
curious.
did that yesterday.
No, I don't want. I don't want any of that. This is
that
now.
my cup?
I don't know. Nick, whose is this?
It
Is
adds
that-
depth.
Yeah.
Just
Sniff
leave
it.
it.
Who could say?
Oh, don't do that. Oh.
Oh wow.
So
So what? What are we thinking?
How are we feeling
Are you
about?
gonna be that close or?
Me?
Me?
Like, are you guys all seated? Because I see we got like 3.5 people over here, and then we've got like 4 + 1 over there.
Are you going to be in the show?
I'm
Yeah, we're swapping.
with him.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that like there's like
Yeah.
3 here.
I
and there's, like
scooch
4
down
here.
This way. We can scooch down
This
this,
is fine.
way.
I think
Wait,
we're
do
good.
you want us
I'm
to?
fine.
I think you're
Be
good.
careful, I'll bedeem you.
Hang on, now I'm
What does that mean?
I'm blinking twice.
She's out of control, man.
Don't mention Blinken.
Is that right?
Oh.
Can you make the scene right there look?
Steven, that's the good news, man. Come hell or high water, whatever the outcome of the election is, on January 20th, 2025, Merrick Garland will no longer be the Attorney General
You
of the
guys
United
are haters.
States.
You guys are
I'm
haters.
with you.
Yeah, yo.
Yes.
I'm a proud hater.
Why?
go.
Why do
Why?
you guys hate him so much?
Why you hate him?
Because
Merrick Garland hates democracy.
What?
Why? He
How dare
raided
you.
Mar-a-Lago.
Who
Nobody's
said,
ever
who gave
done
me
it.
this fucking talking about? He's got a judge's temperament.
That,
I did. Yeah.
you heard that and you're running with it.
No, it's
What a
true.
Great saying.
It's true. He's supposed to be the nation's chief prosecutor. He's supposed to be a Rottweiler, and
It's
instead
the-
he's behaving
he
like a
is-
He
judge.
prosecuted the largest case in
Like
the
a
FBI's
puppy dog.
history.
I think that's
Takes
amazing,
time.
and he should have done that 18
They're
months
going.
before he
They're
did.
going after
Yeah.
monopolies. They're going after drug dealers.
I
they're
love
going
that he
after traffickers.
Monopoly's a board game. I want him to go after Trump, and he
No.
should have gone after
That,
Trump a long time
that goes to show. All you care about is AG is who's going to go after Trump the hardest.
Right. Trump derangement syndrome over here.
Right. Yo, I'm sorry.
All you care about are attorney generals of the federal U.S. government that'll go after people that commit felonies.
I know. I'm a
But they
fucking
are.
loser, aren't
But
I?
they
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
But they are.
yeah.
He smartly took out the muscle first.
I just periodically I'm going to check in with you and see if you have any doubts about the
what?
decision that you've made. when you hear things
we
like
don't agree
this.
on
Do not.
anything.
Do not put
We
that
agree
in
on
the box.
nothing.
when you hear him defend Merrick Garland, you have to hate Merrick Garland.
Oh my God.
Come on.
Oh.
How do you feel about Merrick
Poor
Garland?
man was robbed of his Supreme Court seat. How can you be so harsh on him?
Yeah.
I think he
He
would have
cried.
been. I think he would have been a fine judge.
Cried at his nomination. Remember when Obama introduced him?
Yeah.
He cried.
He got all teary-eyed. Yeah.
Oh
And you want to say
bad
that?
no, but that's funny though
This is
because
the
then he
grounds
didn't
that
get his
Steven
hearing.
says that and Josiah say that he's not good enough because A, he appointed a special counsel to go after the sitting president,
Yes.
which is so appropriate.
Raided his home as well.
No, he's referring to
about
President Biden.
Oh, Biden.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
But he,
Give him credit for that, too.
Yeah, but they're mad that they appointed a special counsel to go after his boss.
So-
I don't know if that seems
So-
like
so here's-
appropriate.
No,
Here's-
I think
appropriate.
that was a good point because we know that the Democrats would probably try to obstruct the investigation the same way that the Republicans.
No
did.
one's
Do you
saying
remember-
that.
Steven,
No.
You remember when Donald Trump was really principled? What was the name of the special counsel?
Why do we have to stoop to his level?
Didn't he-
Why do we have to
didn't
stoop to his level?
Durham.
Oh yeah, to investigate Russia collusion. Oh no, it was still the Mueller guy.
Yeah.
That he tried to kill. How many different ways? How many different
Multiple.
people did he
Yeah,
fire?
he's
Did he
bad.
put out of
Multiple.
office? Did he- oh.
Yeah.
Guys, you guys want to be
Peace
Blue
goes-
MAGA.
Peace goes on
This is
Twitter
Blue
on his
MAGA.
birthday. Peace goes like, oh no, didn't he fire Comey because of the Hillary email? That's what he said, right? That's what he
No,
said.
no, no, no.
Unreal.
It is not Blue MAGA
It is
to
Blue MAGA.
insist that the Attorney General be expedient, for the Attorney General to be vigorous. There was no justification for Garland to play footsie with Trump for a year in
Wait.
turning over those national defense information
Hold on.
documents.
Democracy is the #1 issue on people's minds right now.
Sure.
And if these trials had not been delayed to this point, that may not be at top of mind. Trump was already put away.
Okay, with respect, are
thinking
you
politically.
suggesting that Garland was playing like 4D chess and like dropping the?
Just might
Yeah.
have saved
guys
our
are-
democracy.
You're not even doing you're thinking politically.
Yes.
You're thinking in terms of what's good for the Democrats, and that's already.
I know. I'm thinking what's good for democracy. They share some of the same letters, but different.
Yeah, but you're like-
He goes about it, though, we're not a democracy.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we got to have Republicans special counsels because we're a republic.
I think that if you're trying to consider, if you're being honest, if a sitting president is being investigated for a crime, there should be a special counsel.
Here's the problem.
Yes.
A couple of things. Again, I don't even know if you read that fucking article that I linked to you so many times. That Washington Post
read a lot
article from June 2023. Dozens of DOJ officials were interviewed, and Eric Holder. Do you respect Eric Holder?
I do and I don't.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, I don't know.
Wow.
Why?
It's a good hedge.
Why centrist Pisco?
After Obama, when he-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He appointed too few special counsels to investigate his boss. I need at least a dozen before I like him. What's your beef with
Doesn't
Holder?
I don't have beef.
Doesn't-
Yeah, 100%. Yes. Yes.
I don't have beef with Holder.
Okay.
I don't think that he is someone that you should necessarily put up as like, I don't know, the bastion of.
Do you think that he is at least a credible source?
He's
of
credible.
Okay.
He's a credible guy.
So Eric Holder has even publicly come out and said, "I have no idea why Garland took his time with the Trump investigation.
If Garland had not been blindsided by an obscene ruling by the Supreme Court of the United States, the trial would have happened already.
True.
Wait, what?
The DC
No.
trial.
Even if the Trump immunity decision had gone a different way, that trial would not have been over.
would
It
have.
was
It absolutely
would have started.
Impact. It wasn't even the same. It wasn't even that case.
just the delay alone. Wait a minute. I thought
immunity case?
legal experts at the time said that regardless of what the outcome, the fact that the verdict
No,
came.
but it was a foregone conclusion they were going to rule in a bad way when they
He's also
granted
shorter
or
than you. And his posture's
pseudo granted
worse.
the stay.
Bad posture
That was the
as well.
signal that, oh shit, this is not going to be necessarily
okay.
good.
Yeah,
So if
so
Supreme
you have
Court
to
had done the right
stretch
thing
to get
and
to
ruled
the-
9-0
I'm all
affirming
legs and
the
he's
DC
all
Circuit,
so.
the trial would have happened this year.
Garland.
Blame the
Is it
Supreme
that
Court.
fucking
They were on
hazard
time to have a trial right before the election. If what you care about is politics, the trial was going to happen right before the election.
You have a long torso.
Why even risk the time frame? Why not be a vigorous
You look like
prosecutor?
Sid from
Why not
ISIS.
bring the case?
You shouldn't be thinking about politics if you're a DOJ person. That's an improper.
Garland was thinking about politics.
No, he wasn't.
The article that he's working on for Substack,
Which article?
the one where you talk about how Kamala should nominate Judge Eileen Cannon.
Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. Every time it's going to be like
you're crazy. You're all crazy.
No.
What I want is a independent attorney general and one who's not going to take fear or favor from one party.
Yeah,
and there's not
that's
gonna
Garland did fear. Garland's entire MO was driven, at least in part, by fear. The fear of being seen as political. That's the problem. And you know what he has to show for it? Nothing. If you look at polls about what Republicans think about the DOJ, they've not moved. They still think
You ever
that
watch The Wire?
Yes.
You know this little character by the name of Omar?
Oh my God.
What's
Omar
Omar's
God.
catchwayphrase? Or not catchphrase? One of the things he said that he's very known for.
I'm gay.
He is a gay character. It's not.
hey, look
It's
at that
not
guy.
anything bad.
Why would you say that?
Well, because the way you
Why
said
would
it,
it be bad?
it made it seem like it was a gay
No,
joke.
that's just what he. It's not a gay joke. He said,
Get
what
back to your-
gays know
get back to your
for.
Garland
He
thing.
said when you come at
Jesus
the
Christ.
your lesson here, Bay,
You talk about performance
Become the
without a
king,
purpose.
best
Better not
Miss.
miss. Yeah.
What's that?
and it took time. What are we doing? here?
Ignore me. Ignore me. Ignore me.
Just set up. Just set up.
Okay, cool.
Relax. I'm sorry.
When you come at the king,
Best, no.
He's
you
not
can't
the
miss.
king.
It took time to build this case. You had it did. You had look at what the January 6th committee. That took months and
We're
months
not
and
talking about
months.
the January 6th case. We're talking
And
about the.
actually, wait a minute.
Not up. Go hide the documents.
Actually, wait a minute.
Oh,
Wait a
you're talking
minute.
about that case.
Wait a minute. Actually, wait a minute. That's actually really good. I'm glad you mentioned the House Select Committee. Do you know that they were pissed at Garland that so much of the legwork had to be done by the House January 6th Select Committee because Garland wasn't doing his job?
Yet, when the DOJ says we're not going to listen
Wait,
to
it's down
subpoena
there.
from Congress, you're okay with it.
Wait,
You're
when
o-
what?
When the Congress is saying. This is the House Oversight Committee
Yeah.
and others saying we want details about your investigation. Merrick Garland tells them to go fuck themselves, and you don't have a problem with that.
Wait, which one?
The House of Representatives
Yeah.
has subpoenaed Merrick Garland,
It's still-
and Garland and
it's
others have
it's
claimed executive privilege.
That's their right to claim executive
Because
privilege.
There's a need. There's a need to distinguish the investigation.
Garland didn't do anything wrong.
I understand that, but what you're sounding like, what you wanted was Garland to cooperate with the Democratic House and to not cooperate with the Republican House. That's what it sounds like to me.
You ever see 300?
I've heard of it. Yes.
I just want you. I just want you where you're sitting right now. I'm just gonna have a
There's a
Leonidas
whole-
moment. Just like boom.
Deal with the content of what I'm saying.
The content of what you're saying is that Merrick Garland was ordered by President Biden to observe executive privilege. President Biden claimed executive privilege,
It was a
which is his
proper
right to do.
usage.
Yes, it is.
But you get mad when he says we're not going to comment on the congressional investigation in the Jan 6 committee. You're mad about that.
No, I'm what? No,
He said he was mad about that.
no. My
That's
issue.
what it sounded like.
My issue with Garland is that in the House January 6th Select Committee, they also criticized Garland because
Of
they
course
felt
they
they had
do.
to do
'Cause
the
Congress
legwork.
people criticize and they get mad and they
No,
get butthurt.
most of the case, prosecuting the case, I mean figuratively prosecuting it, was done by the House January 6th Select Committee because they felt Garland was dragging his feet. These are also, by the way,
No,
many of
no.
many of them career prosecutors
They
as well.
served their own purposes. The congressional investigation served a purpose of informing the public about the ins and outs of what's going on.
I understand it's a separate branch. They have their separate purposes. I'm telling you, though, there have been articles written about this, interviews conducted where Democrats on the House January 6th Select Committee were pissed that Garland was taking his time going after Trump. And these aren't like, fuck it, it's not laymen. It's not like, I'm not an attorney, but it's not just people like me. It's actually like career prosecutors and attorneys.
Think about what the case against Donald Trump is now premised on. It is premised on a bunch of people who have flipped, lower level individuals, up to his vice president. these kinds of things take their it takes their deliberate speed. It takes time to build these cases.
They went from a bottom-up approach, and all I'm telling you is that there are dozens of career DOJ officials, again, go read that Washington Post expose from June 2023, that they disagree with Garland's approach. You make it sound like this was the only way to go about it. It was not.
Wait.
Eric Holder says the same thing, and he was also Attorney General.
But they put away the leaders of the Proud Boys, militias, for decades. These are the muscle.
Seditious conspiracy.
Yeah, these are the muscle that would conduct another January 6th. So Trump can run his mouth, but who's going to go pull it off now? So that's what I think Merrick Garland was.
Here's a hot take. Here's a
those
hot
fucking
take.
highly irreplaceable Proud Boys.
Yeah,
No,
thank you.
you'd be
Thank you.
surprised.
I'm sorry. Hot
They're
take.
never gonna get any more
Hot
fucking
take. Hot take.
disgruntled
Hot
white
take.
guys with guns.
Those were important cases.
Hot take. I would uncuff what's his name, Enrique Tarrio, myself, if the alternative was getting Trump. I'd let him walk. Fuck you. Yeah, no.
No,
100%.
I think he set an example with these guys, and a lot of people are going to think twice now about doing it.
You're right. The example he sent was so robust that the leader of
It's
this insurrection
biggest
is a coin flip away from
this is
the White House again.
The largest DOJ investigation in the history of the country. Think about
Ever.
it. 1,000+ indictments.
So let's say that we dragged our feet on the Trump investigation. If Trump gets elected, what's going to happen to Enrique Tarrio? Please go.
He's going to be pardoned, but this is your bad thinking. Your framing is the Department of Justice should be moving according to politics. That's
They do
what
move
you're.
according to politics.
But that's it. Shouldn't do that, right?
do.
It did.
They have to.
He did. Garland
They have
did.
to,
Well,
right?
we disagree. We think
Yeah,
that
we-
the Department of Justice should be run independently without
Yeah.
thinking about political.
So wait a minute, Pisa. Let me ask you something. I understand. Okay, I need to quickly bring a prosecution because it's politically beneficial. That's politically thinking, right? That's being politically motivated.
Okay, yeah.
Right. Here's the alternative. I'm going to take my time with this because I don't want it to be seen as political.
There's no evidence of that.
Well, wait a minute.
That's assumptions
So
by
wait a minute.
people who quit.
Read the fucking expose. But here's the other thing. That's also political thinking. If I know that I have a case to bring against somebody, but if I do it in an expedient way, it would be seen as political. That's also by definition politically thinking.
You don't have evidence that that's what was going on in his mind.
Thank you.
Wait, you don't have evidence that he was thinking, I'm going to deliberately take it slow because it's political. What's the
What
evidence?
would you accept as evidence?
The evidence would be someone saying, I talked to Garland, he was worried. This is the Rob Noor strategy, really.
Let me ask you, what is his why behind this? You're just saying he's a pussy. Why did Merrick Garland not do what you wanted him to do?
Because he was afraid of
You know what?
the
Here's what
DOJ.
Changes I want. This is
Yeah.
what we want, and then we would shut the fuck
You want
up.
Trump
Water.
dead.
One time.
Water.
One time. There was a Republican person
they want
who
Red
did something bad for Republicans,
Sorry.
and he was like, I was genuinely conflicted, and I just needed to figure out. Instead of it's always like,
Put on a
Comey,
mic.
what?
Put on a
I
mic.
can't. Instead of it's always like, Comey is like, I'm a Republican, I don't know what I need to do to save democracy. Oh, I'm gonna fuck the Democrats over. Or, I'm Eric Garland, I don't know what I need to do to save democracy. Oh, I'm gonna fuck over the... Then, if it's just one time.
Yeah, when Comey did it, he was thinking politically and he fucked up. And he fucked over the country. He shouldn't have been thinking politically.
He has to. He's thinking politically either way.
When Loretta Lynch doesn't think about the political ramifications of that meeting on the tarmac, there are a lot of dangers in doing things that make people not trustworthy of the DOJ. And I understand they're going to say what they're going to say no matter what, but I have a belief that the DOJ should be independent, and I don't agree that we should just get the biggest, I don't know, hound dog.
Wait, hold on. You keep using that word. What does any of this have to do with the independence of the DOJ?
If you're doing things, you're mad that they didn't pursue Donald Trump faster.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you,
On a reasonable timetable.
Yeah. Nobody's saying indict him the next day.
The implication is that what happened this time around was unreasonable.
Yes.
What's your evidence that it was an unreasonable
Because it
time
took them
frame?
1 year? How long do I have to respond to the FBI? If they make a request of me, do I get a whole fucking
But
year?
this is a case against the ex-president of the United States.
Oh, so it is political.
No, you gotta go
thank you.
slowly.
Yes, precisely.
No,
Thank you. Yes.
This is consequential. This is consequential. It'll affect the future of our country. You gotta take your time. Cross your T's, dot your I's.
In all seriousness, joking aside, what has him taking his time brought us?
I'm not. You're thinking. What has it brought us?
Yeah.
You're thinking in terms of the
Us,
Democratic
Americans,
Party.
justice, 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 justice.
Yeah. So
I'll say it again.
in moving deliberately, I think has given a substantial amount of evidence that you may not would have had if you had an
You're
indictment
right.
a year before.
It's given us a substantial amount of evidence
Wait,
for
a
cases
year?
that will never see the light of day if he wins this election.
You're
And
thinking
people know that going into this election, and democracy is the #1 issue on people's minds right now.
Let me ask you this. Final question on this. You can have the last
Yeah.
word. If you saw evidence that Garland could have, that people made the case like, listen, you could pursue this at a faster pace, and Garland said, no, I wouldn't want the DOJ to be seen as political, would you concede that that in and of itself is a political consideration?
if No.
Oh, fuck you.
Question.
No. Think about
Next topic. Next
Wait,
topic.
can I ask you guys
Yeah.
a question? I actually have no dog in the race. I don't care because I don't know enough about this. But I'm just curious if going slowly would like make sure that the evidence was more protected and like that, like the
Yeah.
quality of the investigation. If they didn't even get into Mar-a-Lago until a year later, isn't that like antithetical to everything you just said there, or am I
separate investigations.
misunderstanding
I think
this?
we're even. I think it's a good thing to bring up because I think we're missing the mark.
Sure.
Which investigation we're talking about?
I
Sorry
agree.
if you're confused, Kyla, because he keeps messing them up too. So.
I wasn't.
You got the immunity ruling, and we're talking about Mar-a-Lago.
Okay, so are we talking about Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah.
If we're talking about Mar-a-Lago, that case is a lot harder for you.
Oh.
You mean because
Yeah,
because it was
timeline
because it was
makes
thrown
sense.
out? Because it was thrown out?
Harder for you.
Question: why did there need to be a special counsel?
For Donald
Biden.
Trump? For Biden?
Yeah.
He's a city president.
So
It's his boss.
But he was
So?
exonerated too.
Hang on a second. So it's his boss. We don't want to have the appearance of impropriety with the attorney general being at the head of an investigation of the sitting president. Not a good idea.
That means
It happened with
that,
Nixon, happened
so
with
that
Trump.
means that because of then a political consideration, we have a whole bunch of access
No.
to. What do you mean no?
It's not a. It's a
Okay, wait,
consideration.
here's the question.
of
If
bias.
it would have been a traditional investigation where the FBI would have investigated and not recommended charges, would we have gotten a whole fucking report burning Biden at the end?
No, not necessarily. But
Okay,
but
no,
think about.
no, the answer's
but
no,
guess
we
what?
would know.
You haven't read the Her report.
Oh
so
my
first of all,
God.
shut the fuck up. He doesn't know a thing about it. And actually, there's a lot of strong evidence against Joe Biden that he knowingly mishandled classified information. It's actually
The
very
fact that
close.
You're even saying that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't know that though.
What do you mean? I shouldn't
You shouldn't
know
know that. That should have been an investigation that the FBI
Okay.
did and then dropped. That's it. You
So
should have no idea.
So you disagree with the Nixon investigation? You disagree with the Bill Clinton investigation? You disagree with the Trump
Wait.
Mueller investigation?
First of all,
No
investigating
answer.
somebody for charges that could like amount to impeachment or something, I think is a bit different. Number one.
Okay.
Okay.
So the level of severity is what you're looking at here.
I think that's meaningful.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if it was discovered that Biden jerked off to porn in a state he wasn't supposed to or some bullshit, and they were like, we need a special counsel. Like when you say special counsel, it's like some serious shit.
Yeah.
Right? Not like we found a document. I called the fucking chief at the fucking FBI. I was like, hey, can you come grab this shit?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I can't remember the Bill Clinton, like what you're talking about, like the declination report when they declined to bring charges, but the Mueller
under a
report.
different framework.
I was about to say, but Mueller brought charges, so it makes sense that in a comprehensive report where he's talking about bringing charges against a number of Trump campaign officials, that he would also
But
mention.
why was he brought on? Why was Mueller brought on to be a special counsel? Do you remember what was
Was it Sessions who appointed him?
No.
Oh wait, okay, real quick. Talk like we're really doing a thing. I'm just
Okay.
gonna make sure you kind of have the mic started. I'm just gonna listen for like 1 minute and then we'll be good to go.
Cool.
I think we need
Deputy
check
Attorney
mics.
General
Maybe
Rod
we-
Rosenstein.
Because
might
it
need
was
two
after
mics.
Sessions recused
It-
himself, right?
Sessions had recused
Yeah.
himself.
Because if I
Yeah.
use different mics and they're this close, it's gonna be really fucked up.
Okay,
Unfortunately. Yeah.
okay.
So we have to
Let's have her
sorry.
repeat.
After that, Comey was fired.
Okay, I'm gonna yell
Yeah.
at you now. If you're talking, you have to pull the mic to your mouth.
Okay, so literally do
At,
this.
at least,
Yeah, and don't
at
knock
least
your beer
swivel it
over.
And try to be mindful of the space. So if you're gonna
Yeah.
talk, part of the cue that you're gonna talk so people don't interrupt you is you're pulling the mic to your mouth. Okay.
Got it. So Trump wasn't under investigation until that moment. Why was he under investigation when he fired Comey? Because he was under investigation for obstruction of justice, for trying to interfere. Nowadays, this would be totally, absolutely immune. I mean, imagine being charged for firing someone to obstruct an investigation.
Yeah,
if
but
you're the
wasn't
president.
Mueller's remit much larger than that?
It was larger,
Yeah.
but the triggering incident to get Mueller involved was an investigation of the sitting president, that is Donald Trump. Until then, Trump was not under investigation because there was no strong evidence tying him to a conspiracy with the Russian government and the
What's
release
your
of the
point?
emails.
He was the subject of investigation.
We're okay with the Mueller investigation, aren't we? When
Wait. The FISA warrants and everything?
No.
Based off of-
That's Crossfire Hurricane under the FBI. I'm talking about the appointment of Mueller after Comey was fired. Don't you support that?
Hold on. The appointment of Mueller after Donald Trump
Fired James Comey.
So they appointed a special counsel to be somewhat independent from the DOJ when Donald Trump was fucking with the DOJ.
Correct.
What did Biden do that was the equivalent of firing Comey?
Yeah, so I'm not saying that there's an equivalence in terms of the level of conduct.
Listen, yeah, all the differences
He gets so
aside,
rid
it's
when he
such a
walks
saying.
out. He just walks
It's the
out.
best tactic. You just
an
gotta walk
amazing
off.
You do it well. No, but I think that the mere investigation for a felony of a sitting president requires there to be an appearance of impropriety, and we want to know, the American people deserve to know what the outcome is. Imagine if you're the American people, there is a felony investigation into the sitting president. You have no window. The reason why they have that report is
What do you mean
they
what the
wanna
outcome is? We knew what the outcome is because he declined to bring charges. He didn't have to file, 300
They
page
want to know about the
report.
process. The whole reason you have a rationale is to know about the process.
Right, because they will produce the report. Otherwise, the FBI won't reveal anything about the investigation unless they bring charges. So we found out thoroughly what was investigated and
Why they didn't bring a charge. And you can have confidence. That's the whole logic of it. It's flawed. That's the logic.
Do we ever have a right to see an investigation process?
no, I'm not.
I will.
AJW, you! It's AJW, you're right there! Oh my god!
I will absolutely answer. So it's different. It's different when there are certain considerations, including that you are the sitting president. The reason we have these special counsels is in the aftermath of Watergate, when everyone is and other things that happen with intelligence agencies, where they're like tapping Martin Luther King, civil rights leaders. They're doing coups in other countries. There was a big concern about secret investigations, things like that. The reason why we have some of these statutes, these frameworks, is so the American people have confidence that the people holding the levers of power are going to be held to account. That's why they want transparency in their investigations when it deals with someone who has oversight over the agencies that are doing the investigations.
This is a self-defeating argument, though.
Why is that?
Because you're saying, so this whole argument is that we clearly can't trust the DOJ to investigate the president.
That's
right?
not what. No.
That's why we need a special counsel.
That's not what we're saying. We're saying we want the American people to have the confidence to know that the
and you know
investigation was done.
what investigation over the past 10 years do the American people have the most confidence in? Would you say it's, what is it called? What do they call it? Russiagate? Good thing we had an independent counsel for that. So much confidence for the Russian investigation.
Hang on. But that turned out a lot of issues with the investigation, as you're aware of. You're aware that there were issues in the Russian investigation.
There was far more credibility than there was issues.
But also, the problem isn't with the special counsel, it's with the actions afterwards. The special counsel can just recommend, and if the attorney general is not on board, then what can he do?
And I just want to say, there were issues in the Russian investigation, including, but not limited to, the FISA renewal applications, where there were literal crimes. There was a crime that was charged that we wouldn't know about if we didn't have special counsels or inspector generals in charge of these reports and coming to these conclusions.
All I'm going to say is we're so far afield from the fact that I don't think Merrick Garland's pace is justified. That's why I dislike
based
the guy.
on what? Because Trump
based
wasn't
on
tried before the election.
Based on a guy named Eric Holder, former attorney general, dozens of DOJ officials who disagree with Garland. If you want to say, if you want to say that Garland's decision is sound, that's fine. You're entitled to that opinion. I'm just saying.
Think it's within the realm of reasonable decisions.
Garland made political decisions. When your thought process is my pace is going to be determined on how political my pace will be perceived.
You don't have proof of that. You don't have proof of that.
I would just encourage you very strongly to read
You
that
just have
WAPO.
feels. Okay, I'll read the WAPO.
Yeah.
I thought I already did.
I don't think you did.
But
I think it's like your her report. Yeah. I think it's like your her report. And
It's like it's Colorado Supreme Court decision.
yeah, exactly. And I also think I'm going to pull the Steven on you. What's it going to take? Like a signed confession? Is that going to take? He's going to have to admit to
No,
it.
how about some communication where the reasonable assumption would be he's operating because he doesn't want to be lambasted.
Right.
It's different than when you're like, hey,
Let's be very clear. I just want to be very clear to make sure I'm being absolutely charitable to the Attorney General. I don't think it's because he was worried that he personally would be lambasted. He felt that the DOJ had been politicized under Trump, and it had enjoyed
as it had been.
I understand, and that it had this reputation of being a political instrument, and so he wanted to proceed with extraordinary caution so as to not feed that perception. I think that inherently, even if you agree with that, it sounds great on paper, that is political.
Absolutely right. Beautifully.
But he had to dig the DOJ out of a hole, and so he had to overcompensate. Maybe, perhaps he did too much. But
may I ask, just in all seriousness, are we out of the hole with the DOJ? Because if you look at the polls, Republicans aren't buying it. They think that Garland is corrupt, that the DOJ...
he can't control. He can't control their reaction. He can't control their reaction to doing the right thing.
Mr. Attorney General, if you're watching, they were always going to think that no matter what you did, you should have just slapped the cuffs on him 3 weeks in.
He's not thinking on that level. And here's the proof is in the pudding. If the trial had happened before the election, you wouldn't be saying shit.
Yeah, and what if he was found? What if he was acquitted? And you would say, oh, maybe they should have taken some more time and done some more research, more
Wait,
evidence.
wait, what's the
All you
gotcha
care
there?
about is the result. And if the trial would have happened, you would have been like, wow, Merrick Garland, I'm so glad that
You're
you
right.
took his time.
I'm such an
I didn't respect your game.
such an asshole for wanting to see some
Yes,
sort of
that's what you
conclusion.
want. That's why
some
you're
sort of
frustrated.
conclusion.
Hey, I wanted to see it. I wanted to see it too, but I didn't want to see the DOJ go through some kind of crazy procedure or to do something outside the realm of reasonableness. And listen, I don't have evidence that they've done that, and so I'm going to assume good faith on the behalf of the Attorney General, who I think has done
When was
an
the last
exceptional
time?
job in
When was, the,
general.
when was the last time the DOJ brought charges against a former president?
They've never done that.
So would it have been within the realm of possibility? Sorry, would it have been within the realm of possibility for the DOJ not to bring charges against Donald Trump, since that's their standard operating procedure?
Bro,
Would it? Would it?
I think that you're not properly.
Would it?
You're not properly.
It would. It would.
You're
So if we're
not
basing-
properly. You're not properly like understanding the level
Leave the
of.
bathroom before we swap over to Bridges.
I think we're good.
About an hour and a half to 2 hours in your.
Yeah, we should get everybody else involved somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I have the last word on this?
Yes, you can have the last word
Oh
on
my
it.
god. Well,
So
they
there-
go to the bathroom. If you have to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
There are a ton of, as we just saw in the Supreme Court, nuanced legal issues on all these fronts, including the classified documents case, which saved Biden's ass, I must say. The notion that a former president or vice president needs to willfully withhold national defense information means the standard is much higher than someone who's not the president or the vice president who has, while they're in office, great deal of authority to keep classified documents wherever the fuck they want. Same with the immunity decision
hold
with
on,
respect
what
to the.
did you just say?
So, for the specific statutes at issue in the classified documents case, both for Biden and for Trump, you need to show willfulness.
That's true for every-
No. Difference between intentional knowing and willful. Under the statute, willful means not only that you knew what you were doing, this is different than normal rule, you knew it was illegal. What saved Biden in the end is he had a plausible case based on some Reagan precedent that I actually thought it was legal to have my own written versions of classified documents in my notebooks. It was very thin because if you listen to the recording, he says, I have all the classified stuff downstairs. It is a narrow statute. The reason why we can charge Trump with willfully withholding classified information is because we know he did it with it being illegal, because we did the many attempts to try to get the back and forth. With us going after multiple times, us being the DOJ in this case,
I don't even know
asking
if
for
that.
the
I don't think
documents,
that's the main
it is
thing
the
at
case.
issue in the Mar-a-Lago case.
It is the case.
It's
So-
not. The big charges are related to obstruction. There are cases related to the retention of documents. That is in the national defense information. I don't think they charged him with the ordinary classification statutes.
With the
Because
and
they
also
can't,
with the documents.
They can't because when he took the documents, he was the president of the United States, correct?
Yeah.
When you're the president of the United States, none of the classification rules apply to you.
It's
Oh
but
my
it has
God.
nothing to do.
He- who got him? Who's been talking to him?
Wait.
It's Rob.
It's
No,
it has
no,
nothing-
it's not
it
Rob.
has- He wasn't
I'm telling you
charged.
something true.
He was.
I read the Her report.
He was charged for
I understand
willful
the analysis.
He was charged for willful retention of national
understand.
defense
I
information.
know
He could
Well,
have.
but the only reason I bring this is because the national defense information, that's a different one because the president doesn't actually have the authority to declassify that. That declassification has to come from Congress, I believe. Or there's another process.
Unsure, actually. But I
No,
will,
I am sure. That's the difference
No,
between
no, no.
that charge and the ordinary, outside
We
the
do
skip
not have
charge.
on-point precedent about scope of national defense information, where, and to the extent to which who can.
My
has ultimate authority.
understanding is that even if the documents had been declassified properly, he still did not have the right to have them, and that's why he was.
When he
charged.
was president, he did. When he was the president.
Thank God, time moved on,
Yes.
and then he wasn't president when he had them.
But if Donald Trump thought that it was legal to do it,
Sorry.
listen to me.
It's the Chappelle skit where the guy's
No.
like, I didn't know I couldn't do that.
This is-
Sorry, with Chip.
I'm gonna learn you a thing or two.
You're right. Go ahead.
So, in this statute,
I want you to be like Merrick Garland and take your time.
the willful retention of national defense information requires you to have a heightened mens rea. It requires you to know what you're doing is illegal.
A heightened mens rea, like being the top authority at the administration or at the part of government that's responsible for classifying material?
So Donald Trump could have reasonably said at the time, if they had tried to charge him when they found the documents in Mar-a-Lago, he could have said, I thought it was legal for me to have those. That would have been a valid defense.
Yeah, but he didn't. Instead, he's on recording saying, I was
Yes.
supposed to declassify
Yes.
these, but I didn't.
Yeah, that's because
Hey,
the investigation
actually-
continued. They had obstruction evidence, and that evidence goes towards willfulness.
If they, So let's be clear. The only reason Stephen and I want, and I'm sure you do, want Trump charged of the classified the documents case was because he kept the documents. If they'd gone to Mar-a-Lago and said, "Give us the goddamn documents back," and he was like, "Hey, sorry, I thought I could," we wouldn't want him charged.
Now you're talking about policy. I don't want to hear about policy. I don't want to hear about your own ethical system, whatever that is. What I want to hear about is why you knew that they had evidence of mishandling of classified information at the time they found the documents. The truth is they didn't. Until they could show that Trump knew what he was doing was illegal, they couldn't charge even the classified document stuff because that requires willfulness, a heightened standard. So the obstruction evidence, you're correct. It's important evidence because it goes both to the underlying obstruction charge and the willfulness charge. And there are thorny legal issues here about, can you charge him with this if he took them out of where they were supposed to be when he was president? Those are complicated legal issues. They exist here and in the January 6th case that don't present themselves in the main run of cases. And so I'm fine with the DOJ taking their time, being apolitical.
What's wrong with the left
based
camera, guys?
Merrick Garland for doing all the things he needed to do to get these cases on the road. Yeah. There you go.
Swap over.
Wait, somebody's saying something about the left camera. Is something weird? Or what's going on? Is somebody being blocked?
I don't know. We don't have the preview up. So
Good, true.
we wouldn't know.
It's hard for
would
us
we?
to know.
That's crazy, huh?
Can't see Dan. I think Dan will lean forward when we start talking. Everything, as long as Pisco and Joanna are visible, I think everybody should be. And then me and Dan are visible at the edges.
Are we visible?
Just sit there and
It's only
get
the
told
right
like
side
that.
visible. From Destiny to Pisco. Nothing. No one else is visible.
Well, hold on. They have to talk. Say something.
Hey,
Hello,
that
hello,
working?
hello.
Can you see Is that working?
On this side
Can
of
you
the
see
camera?
us over
Hey, 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 hey,
Well,
hey,
Dan
hey.
will pull forward. You can pull forward
Hello,
one more, right?
hello, hello. It doesn't switch over to this side.
No, it is.
It does.
I'm. Oh, okay.
Do you have the screen pause?
No, maybe. Maybe a little bit.
I think you just have to pull in towards Josiah, act like you don't hate him.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. I don't mind. It's okay. I'm just here trying to save the Jewish people, but I can
But do it on
make
camera.
I can make some time for you guys.
Yeah.
No problem.
We really got into it, huh?
It's good.
Pussies. I wouldn't fucking not let
Fucking
that shit
that
fly.
guy's a piece of shit. That's what he is.
Listen, we love democracy. I believe that.
Here, I hope Kamala's AG pick can
Yeah.
bring you two together. Okay.
Doug Jones or Glenn Kirshner.
You want Doug Jones?
I think Doug Jones would have been better than Merrick
Does he
Garland.
have a prosecutor's temperament?
I hope so. God, I hope so. I don't think he's been
You
a
think
judge.
I'm gonna pick like Roy Moore? I'm like, that must be your opinion of me that I'm gonna like pick some out there person.
My opinion about you, Pisco, is just constantly reshuffling. It's just like it's constantly like I still don't know where you are in the Supreme Court. I think.
What do
that-
you mean? I criticize the Supreme Court quite a bit.
Do you think we should expand the court?
Of course, that's been my opinion since the Merrick Garland steal.
Where are you on Alito? And should he have recused himself?
No, I don't think he should have.
It's immediately going up.
Sorry.
Even when
Yeah, I think the Chief Justice is wrong.
that the Chief Justice was wrong to take that opinion away from Alito.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, I can't do this. I can't do this at all. I can't.
Listen, you want to apply everything that someone's wife does to the person themselves. I don't want to do that.
Chief Justice Roberts seemed to do that when he took that
Yes, and
opinion
I
away,
disagreed a lot with the chief in recent weeks and months.
but not on that Trump
Just-
immunity decision. Pisco thinks that
No, I hate
Roberts
that
nailed
decision.
that one.
I hate that
Yeah.
decision.
Just because your wife flies some flags at both of your homes doesn't mean you believe any of it.
I don't know. I disagree with you on this. I disagree with you on this.
Hey, fist bump right here. Thank
I
you.
think that if your wife has any respect for you and the sanctity of your job, where you're meant to be certain, like, apolitical standard, then she should have her political opinions, but not fly them from a flag outside of her house.
So wait, so she loses her rights?
It's crazy if you like have any level of respect for your partner who is a political
But we're not
figure.
judging whether we have any level of respect. I agree with both of you on that. There's no disagreement on that.
The
with
idea
us.
that they wouldn't be aligned in this at all is wild.
Well, actually, I'm
don't
just curious because we
disagree.
don't have to. Hold on, I don't remember when they talked about the issue with the flags flying or whatever. Did they say that? Did they say that they'd written those statutes or those ethical guidelines? Was it to prevent all impropriety, or was it the appearance
of
Oh, was it
impropriety.
appearance?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, crazy. Okay. Do you think it
again-
might appear improper if?
Apparently, a reasonable mind like Chief Justice John Roberts, there's circumstantial evidence to suggest that he also felt the same way.
Why do you think? Why was it so great that he had to take the opinion, but not for Alito to recuse himself? Isn't that kind of weird?
That is
kind of a double
weird.
standard.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It is
Isn't that weird?
I think that it is weird, but I don't agree with the chief on the law, and I don't agree that it's reasonable to think that just because the flag was up for how many days? 3 days?
I can't even remember.
We've had this discussion
That's
before.
Yeah.
crazy.
3 days. Have you seen it? You know how long it takes me to climb up that flagpole? Have you ever seen Mulan? It took her a whole week. All right.
Must be swift as a course. Yeah, exactly.
You have a good voice.
Thank you.
Are you classically trained?
No,
She is.
I believe it.
She has a name.
Cool.
What is it?
Yeah,
Pisco?
it's
What is
not
it?
Joanne.
on this,
It's not
on
Joanne.
this panel. It's woman too. Okay.
Woman too. Blonde one.
Why are we all here?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good question.
Other than to
Good
yell at
question,
you.
Kyla.
Yeah, it's all on me. Hi guys, welcome to a live version of Bridges, where we are joined by the DGG community streamers. Okay, what's gonna be helpful for people who don't know who you are? Just tell us your name, who you are, starting with the most important character on the show, Dan the Content Man.
Oh shit. Sorry.
Hey everyone, what's up? My name's
Don't
Dan.
look at that screen. Look at there.
Hey everyone, what's up? Boy, I wish I had a thing I could see what's going on here. My name's Dan Saltman. I am Israel's greatest soldier, and I'm just, longtime member of the stream, Destiny's sidekick that gets abused frequently, and that's about it, I guess. Not much else to it. Yeah, sound good?
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right, we got a lot of these to go through. There you go.
I'm Josiah, aka Pondering Politics, and I'm here to yell at Pisco and to make the case for democratic supremacy and aggressive Supreme Court reform, which he opposes. Don't let him fool you.
I'm Joanna, also known as the Silly Serious. I identify as a non-streaming streamer, and I occasionally come in to chat with Stephen about philosophy stuff and gender stuff and international relations stuff.
Lesbian bars.
And lesbian bus.
Yeah. I'm Pisco. I'm a lawyer. I'm a frequent guest. We talk about things like politics and the Department of Justice and cases that are going on.
I'm really important Twitch streamer and Ben Shapiro owner.
I am Alexander, irrelevant, online. Okay, I'm a desperate roommate. Needs desperately, seeking roommates right now because mine abandoned me. All right, I have a drama-free house. I promise. All right. Do you want to
Do both. Bring both mics together. Oh god.
I am Lonerbox. I am Israel's second greatest defender. Oh, that one. Okay.
Don't you dare.
I'm a streamer. I occasionally talk to Stephen about Middle East.
You didn't say who you were, so I don't need to say who I am, do I?
I don't know.
We're co-hosts.
True.
And you're the hosts.
We're the hosts. Thank you.
Oh, wait, we're sharing.
All right. Okay.
No, make those two share. You two share.
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
Oh, I thought you were going to introduce yourself though, real quick.
No,
Oh,
I'm
never
not
mind.
introducing myself. They know
What if
who
they
I
don't
am.
know? Okay.
If they're on Bridges, they probably know who I am.
Maybe.
In fairness.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, guys. I wanted to talk with you guys, obviously, about the community and why you're here for the election night and the upcoming election, and to milk you guys as hard as possible for some content. Maybe start. I'm super curious to know how everyone actually got involved with the Destiny community. I know you were a Hassan mod. Tomato, tomato, tomato.
That wasn't the start.
Tomato, 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 tomato.
I was. Yes, I
Wait,
was.
can you tell us that?
He still is.
Tell us.
No, we're there. We're there.
Shut up. He was
dude.
never.
Yeah, what the hell? So back when there was the schism hadn't happened, I became a Hassan mod because I was in his Discord debating like literally 6 hours a day, every day. I loved it. It was fantastic. And they were just like, hey, you're in here all the time? Became a mod. Fell out of becoming a mod because the mod chat got a bit spicy. Group chat got leaked. And so
Many such cases.
What were the jokes?
the jokes were, colorful of specific communities. Look, I didn't say
communities?
I didn't
Which
no,
ones?
like
Which
I forgot. I didn't make the jokes myself. Okay, I want to know. I have no logs.
Sure.
Okay, I was in the group chat, and so it was like radiation. Okay, I was like,
why did you want to go and be a part of Hassan's community?
I mean, Hassan back then. Hassan was sorry, my bad. Back then, Hassan was pretty chill. He was pretty like cool with like liberals and liberal ideas. Go ahead.
How were you removed as a mod? What was that process? Were you spoken to?
It was like, I mean, the group chat got leaked. Everybody was like, "This is okay." So there was like a little bit of homophobia and transphobia in there. Okay, there was the like head mod was a gay dude and he had a gay dude who was a little bit spicy with some of his statements amongst other. I had no logs. Okay, I had no logs that were leaked. I was simply in the chat. But yeah, it got leaked. My bad. No, I'd clean logs. But yeah, that happened, and then they just removed everybody in the mod chat. So it's kind of also Frogan was cool at the time too. I don't know what happened. Frogan was like the coolest mod at the time, and then everybody just I don't know. They became not cool anymore.
Is everyone who's a part of that community like an ex-mod kind of deal, or is it less?
You gotta get better at your mic.
You guys gotta.
I'm sorry, I'm not trained. All right, I'm not a streamer.
Classically trained.
So like, is everyone part of that community like an ex-mod? Are they all? Did you see them all grow up and become big streamers as well?
Not everybody in that community. Most of the people in that community either stopped. There was some controversy with the people who leaked the logs. Like they went on to like scam people, which was kind of cathartic for me that they leaked the logs, making us all look bad, and then they turned out to be a bunch of scamming weirdos. So like fuck those people. But no, I think the only person who was there at the time who continued streaming was Frogan. And myself. I think nobody else was streaming. Everybody else was like doing normal shit. So.
Do you think it was just them who changed, or did you change as well?
Maybe they're still.
I haven't like I've changed political positions, but like other than that, like I'm pretty similar. I've changed some political positions, but nothing too radical. They went pretty. I mean, we all know how Hassan has changed over the last like couple of years, where he's just gone crazy. So.
Have you ever asked any of like your fellow streamers and friends like why they trickled into your community or anything? Like, have you ever had that conversation with people?
Yeah, I think so. I usually have a decent idea. Usually it's like either a big event, games will play, some debate that'll happen. Generally, yeah.
Okay. I feel like this year specifically, there's been a lot. Like you blown up. It's been this year specifically. You went from ruminate. The
Rum 1
the
N8.
forgettable.
Rum 1 N8 to pondering
Rum 1
politics.
N8, yeah.
N8, right? It was
Yeah.
an 8. And
So
a TE.
I couldn't get the actual spelling of ruminate because it was taken already, and a buddy of mine was like, "Dude, you're streaming. Throw like a 1 and an 8 in there." And I'm like, all right, cool. And then people would be like, what's Rum 1 N8? I'm like, it's ruminate, man. And so eventually I rebranded. And yeah, it's been the past 12 months. Yeah.
Crazy.
It has been crazy.
I feel like you got Occupy Democrats. You've been doing some crazy stuff.
I think I met Destiny on the Joshua for Congress panel. Remember how much fun we had roughing that guy out?
Oh my God, was he like a 20-year-old running for Congress?
He was like a socialist. He knew nothing, and we just beat him up.
That was a rough one.
I think you ended his career.
He might have quit after that.
Yeah.
To be fair, that guy was like rolling around waiting for his career to be ended. So.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I feel like you're an interesting case because you're like the most socialist of the crew right now.
Wait a minute, are you suggesting that we're not interesting cases? Because you just said that
You
he's
guys
an
are-
Yes,
interesting
she is
case.
suggesting that. Get over it.
Yeah. Boring.
Ouch.
They are very interesting.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. But one thing that I feel like I'm always surprised by is I feel like a lot of people are surprised that you've fallen more and more consistently into like the Destiny political opinion camp. Do you know like why?
Yeah, why'd you start copying all of your takes from me?
It's more like
I'd really like to know that. Do you like watch him all the time before you stream and then you go live and then you just rehash it, or?
Wow. Oh, wow. Where's this coming from? This just got awkward.
I'm glad she didn't call us interesting now. That was brutal. Yeah.
No, I'm obviously joking.
okay. I used to think Destiny was a bit of a cunt. So, but I used to.
And that was a lot.
It's nice when he says it.
But I enjoyed the debates, so I watched as I was kind of hovering around the BreadTube crowd. I always preferred streaming to video essays, even though I started video essays just because I have no attention span. And then I kind of realized that when I used to identify as a socialist in like 2010, 2011, 12, barely anyone was into politics, and definitely not that kind of area. And socialist, like where I came from, usually just meant like social democrat, with a little bit of reformist or like explore new ways of structuring society. So I kind of thought the whole USSR tanky shit was done, but it wasn't. So I think a lot of it's been more like changes in association rather than like fundamental ideas. And over time from streaming, I just kind of realized that this community was the one I identified with the most.
As you got into the space, you kind of like first identified with more like the bread tube, and then as you got more like as you socialized with people, you realize like these aren't quite where.
Well, bread tube back in the day was people fighting against Nazis. So if you're attacking Nazis, it's quite easy to make yourself look good, right? And there was the likes of like ContraPoints and people like that. But then I guess as time developed and you start to scrutinize things a bit more. And I mean, I was like a musician for most of my 20s, so I didn't really dive deep into anything. So the more I started looking at stuff and the more I started like reading about particular topics more closely, I just started to realize that I didn't really go quite exactly where they were going. Ukraine was definitely the first red flag when I realized that socialism was a little bit fucking weird when it came to the rest of the world. And then after that, it was just like one other issue after another.
Socialism or the socialists that you interacted with?
There shouldn't be anything theoretically about socialism that makes you support Russia and Ukraine, but somehow it happened. So, yeah, probably both. Like there must be something inherent in the ideology, but also just the people as well.
So wait, this journey like really began when Russia invaded Ukraine. That's what you mean in 2022, was it?
Yeah. I think that was like the first big one. There were other like little things before that. I mean, I think it was every now and then, like I'd make a video about Churchill, like talking about how he's so valorized in the UK and people like to bury a lot of his worst excesses. But I left a little concession in there saying that at the end of the day, he was the one who realized that Hitler was a piece of shit and that he shouldn't be trusted, and he shouldn't be appeased. And that's good. And actually, like at one point in Europe, he was the only one fighting against the Nazis because America took their fucking time. Anyway.
So you're still pro Churchill compared to Chamberlain, then?
I threw that little concession in because I think like right wingers aren't wrong about everything.
Right.
But then people got really fucking angry, and I was like, I realized, it's just like small things like that at a time. I just realized that lefty sphere online is like just not what I want to be part of.
When you said that right wingers were not wrong about everything, had you met an American right winger at that time?
American right wingers are special, okay? I don't know if you saw the last poll from YouGov, but they asked like every other country in Europe who they would vote for in this election. I think the closest Trump came is he gets like 24% in Italy.
Wow. Can we somehow get your constituents to vote in our election?
Eastern Europe, like Hungary and
They love him.
I don't think the poll only had like 10 countries in it, but the best performing one for Trump was Italy, and he had 24% versus like Kamala getting 50.
I think it's really interesting as well when you see the leftist kind of. There's almost this mapping in their mind, and I'm a leftist, so I'm not. It's self on self-hate, but sometimes. When it comes to international relations, leftists will go, oh, who's the socialist? Who's the more left-wing in this situation? And then take that side as if the left-wing, their ideology and their point of view just maps perfectly onto all other geopolitical situations without any knowledge of what's going on.
I think that's totally. I bet that's totally true. I'm actually interested in your perspective from an Australian perspective on Churchill, because I understand there's a lot of resentment and hurt feelings about.
Yeah, Churchill really fucked us in World War One, and we're still mad about it. We're still really upset about it. Fuck Winston Churchill from Australia.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, there was actually a little interesting part about who's the historian in quotation marks. His name's Daryl something. He's from. The chat will know who I'm talking about. Martyr Made guy, yeah. Where he did this big thing like Churchill sucks or whatever. But there are some. When I went to Australia, there was like definitely a lot of hurt feelings about Gallipoli and World War I and his involvement in that. But interesting how like an international conflict made you kind of appreciate the differences and that you were having with the socialist friends that you're hanging out with.
Yeah, because I think domestically. And you'll notice that left-wing creators do this a lot, is that they will sometimes realize that they're kind of homeless without the whatever left-leaning party is in their country. So that's why every now and then people like Kassan will become like Democrats to the untrained eye, you know? Mm-hmm. And then it's only after like a kind of niche issue appears that you start to notice what's going on. So
you say it though, but I am happy that like Vosh is pretty pro-Ukraine, and it seems like Kassan, although initially kind of wishy-washy on Crimea, seems to be pro-Ukraine, at least in some capacity, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing, is like because
the same way that Merrick Garland is pro-justice sentiment, yeah.
I say there's still common cause on some of these fronts, and I hope. I don't know. Has Hassan endorsed Kamala?
No.
No, I don't think so.
I know it's
He had like a little phase, didn't he, where he was getting really hyped about Walz and
Tim
Biden
Walz.
dropping out, but that didn't
happen. And he didn't.
Yeah, but then I think it was the DNC,
Just
right?
saying, then it happened.
What?
And then he just moved the goalpost. I don't track him very closely. Is that what he did?
Yeah, but you just like laughed and repeated what I said.
Well, no. What I,
Thunder from my.
well, no. Just because you made it sound like that's it. Fuck. Yeah, they actually did it. Like Democrats called his bluff. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't. There must have been something else going on. I didn't follow the VP stuff very closely, but I thought that Walz was considered somewhat of an unlikely pick, or were people not?
He was the furthest to the left. A lot of people
Yeah,
thought
and
it
then
was going to be
but-
Shapiro.
Yeah, yes, Shapiro. And then a lot of people were like, they would never fucking choose Walz. Like that would be if they choose Walz, like that would I'd be so happy. And then she chose Walz, and they're like,
Whatever.
so yeah, where's Bernie? Like I don't care. It was just like it's never enough. It's
No,
like all the people that are saying that like we wanted an open contest, a contested whatever bullshit. It wouldn't have mattered if Kamala would have won, or if any center left person would have. Nobody would have given a fuck.
I haven't given my story, right? So I came from, this is a shout out, Prime Chi. The Prime Chi community. You guys remember those
Yes.
big debates? So I was in, I think 2L. This was during COVID. And I remember watching another shout out, Lecture Fan. You guys know what Lecture Fan is? I was just randomly on a stream I was like bored out of my mind in COVID lockdown. And he's a conservative lawyer guy. And I saw Lecture Fan's stream and I started chatting to him and he was like responding to a few things that I was saying. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I saw this guy, Prime Kai, and he's like, anyone can call in, which is, I mean, wild. You guys do these shows now, and we do the Twitter Spaces or whatever. But at that time, I thought it was pretty innovative, actually. And I started going on those panels a lot. And then from there, when I first met Steven, it was during the Kyle Rittenhouse arc.
Oh, really?
This is his first ban from Twitch when he said
I was never banned for Rittenhouse, just to be clear.
departnered
Yeah.
for saying dipshit protesters.
We think it's okay to burn
I think
down
it's okay to
buildings.
build Should we go on?
Quoted just like Biden.
Come on. No, but it's that sort of exchange. I think that we talked on an initial panel with like A4 Andre. Do you remember that guy? And then we had our big like classical discussions about defensive property, and from there it kind of snowballed into other topics.
Is this the blade of grass
The
thing?
legendary
That's the
blade
blade
of
of-
Okay.
yeah.
This is the most defended theoretical blade of grass in the world. Okay,
Yes.
there are like battle fortresses built on either side of this
Then
blade of grass.
Another one of our first conversations was about the Supreme Court.
Were you
And
guys fighting?
I think it was because what Stephen will do, actually, I think it's really good of him to do that, is oftentimes he'll ask a lot of questions when he's trying to build a rapport.
Socratic, yeah.
And I really liked it. So he's asking me a bunch of questions about the Supreme Court at a time where you weren't in your law arc yet. You weren't like reading all these cases or doing all this stuff. And you asked me like, do you have confidence in the Supreme Court if Biden's elected, that if Trump, this is in like August of 2020, that the Supreme Court will stand up? And I said, yes, I believe in the integrity of Chief Justice John Roberts. I think that he is
Clip that.
a good steward of the Supreme Court, and I think that
Clip
he'll
that
do what's
too.
in the best interest of the stability of the nation. That was me as a 3L at that point, or a 2L or a rising 3L. My opinion has since changed because of the immunity decision, but yeah, those are the initial topics that we talked about, and then it got a little weird. We started talking about like, I don't know, Aryaveda. Was that you?
It was me.
Oh,
That was Eric.
okay, but you were involved somehow in that.
Arya Veda?
Ayurveda with Dr. K.
Oh, Ayurveda.
Oh, and then the Dr. K stuff, and then
It was all like Dr. K adjacent stuff.
yeah.